Seems to be pretty decent.
Look at that. Beautiful.
Alrighty, y'all. So today we're going to be talking about how to make your axe really cut efficiently. So first thing you're going to do is to remove chips. Take a mill file. In fact, we're going to be using this for most of the work. This is a 10-inch. I probably wouldn't recommend anything smaller, but this will get the job done. So first thing you're going to do is go over the edge and make sure to maintain an arc. You don't want to go like this and then like this, because you want to maintain a smooth arc. You don't want to have any, jaggedness or angles in there.
Alrighty, y'all. I wanted to say that you don't necessarily have to remove chips like that if they're minor. I had minor chips in the edge when I took it to the stone and put the micro bevel on it, and that pretty much removed all the chips. So yeah, you don't really have to, file it unless you got crazy chips in it. Otherwise, you're good.
So once you've got that done, then you're just going to start. I have to get this thing more straight, so that a little bit of an angle. That looks pretty good. Hope you guys can see it with my arm there, but you're essentially, the rule of thumb that I've heard a lot is lay your file flat, lift up off the eye a little bit, and then just kind of go like that. And that's one way to do it, but keep it very consistent, I like to use sort of my finger as a gauge. Like I'll put my finger here, on this axe anyway, put my finger here, then my file right there, and just kind of go like this across, so I get a very consistent grind. So I'm gonna put my thumb there, and then just sure I have this angled so that it's actually gonna cut. All right. And as you can see there, that shiny metal is what we're starting to take off. And to monitor your progress, you can take a Sharpie, come to the edge here, shake this one up. You're going to want to color the edge so that you can see where exactly you're going. And then ideally, you want to go down to the edge. You want to file all the way down to the edge ideally. Sometimes I'll go to where you can barely see the black, and then I imagine what is left is taken off when you put the micro bevel on, which I'll show you how to do that in the next step. And generally, I just go until I see a tiny bit of black, as minimal as possible, and then I'll put the micro bevel on. But I know some people will just bring it down until they feel a burr. Alright, so now that we got that colored, start filing again. And this can take quite a while. On this axe, I'm not removing a whole lot of material compared to some axes that you have. And of course, sometimes this isn't always an option. If you get an axe head that's very worn, you're gonna be you might be wearing out files. Like if I had this axe like to here, and it was crazy thick, I mean, there's a point where an axe, because it's tapered of course, where it'll be so worn that you just can't get it to chop properly. So yeah, that's one thing to look for when you're buying vintage axe heads. But a lot of the time, new axes and old axes that have a lot of life left, you can just grind them down like this. And of course, the arc that I'm swinging at may be different from the arc of the blade. So what you want to do then is, if you're coming very close to the edge here, but you're kind of missing the corners, then just hit the corners up until you get it all even. So yeah, just kind of swing it, or you can go straight across, whichever way you prefer, until you get down to the edge, or until you get all the way to the edge, and flip it over, do the same thing, and then I'll show you guys in the next step how to put the micro bevel on. So because this one's pretty thin, I'm going to put probably a fairly large angle on it. Let's try something like that. Now, dip her in water again. Now we'll move over to this side. See if we can just move a little bit of that crap. Still got a burr on there from when I was using the file on it. But starting to get fatigued off. I just pulled a little section of it off, as you can see. Put the whetstone down and all sorts of stuff on it. Dip her in water again. Alright, now we'll swap her over to this side. Just taking all that parts of the stone off the edge so I can get a good look at it here. See if we can feel a little bit of a burr there. Oh yeah, definitely. Dip her in some water. Alright, now that we got the burr flipped around, you'll be able to feel a little bit of a burr on it. And you go like that and you'll feel it catching on the side that the burr is on. And generally you're not supposed to do that because the burr could cut your finger, but once again just kind of removing all the stones so I can feel it properly. Definitely a little bit of a burr there, I think. Seems to be pretty decent. Let's see here. Removing everything from the sides of the edge so I can see just the edge. Real quick, I'm going to bring this into the light and then see if I can't see any edge. See if I have to hit any other spots, if it's thicker in some spots than others. If you're using a stone or leather where you see that stuff building up, that's where the burr is, and obviously as it gets smaller and smaller and you end up seeing barely any or none of it, that's how you know the burr is basically gone or being removed. You can also take a file, see if it pulls off any of, not a file, your nail, see if it pulls off any bit of your nail. And so I just went over this and stropped it until I didn't really see any leather building up. I'd say it's pretty decent because, you know, it's an axe, of course. Like I mentioned, it's kind of a, you know, a wedge on a piece of wood, but seems to be pretty decent. And what I've noticed is it seems like if you have a little bit of a burr on your axe and you start using it, that burr will come right off. Also, if you have any little chips in it, it seems like those get rounded off as you use it. I don't believe this is hair shaving sharp, but we'll try her out here. Oh, not quite. I can tell it almost wants to. It's catching a little bit, but not quite hair shaving sharp. But I don't really think that matters. It seems to be sharp enough. Alrighty, y'all. I'm going to do a quick test. I already tested it out back on some dry applewood limbs, but I'm just going to try this out real quick. Oh yeah, I'm going to bring you guys closer. I just want to explain one thing. So, of course, you might say, well, it's not that hard to chop off a branch that size, you know, with an axe, and you're right. I could easily have done it with the factory edge, but this way, it feels like the axe wants to pull itself into the wood. Like it feels like there's no resistance. Whereas if I were to cut this with like a more blunt edge, it would feel more like it's pushing the stick than actually wanting to stick in. Take you guys off the tripod and show you just how clean of a cut that was. Like I said, like no resistance. It was nice. Look at that. Beautiful. Just beautiful. Oh man. I'm gonna get back to testing this out, see what else we can do. Alright, so we got this little stump here. Chop this. We saw how well it did on limbs. I'm gonna show you guys how it works on this. I chopped this one down here. But see if we can't get this on camera. Ooh. Sinking in pretty deep. Of course, now that we got the camera on, my accuracy is going to be bad, but there we go. Yeah, I'm sure I haven't done a whole lot of chopping, you know, in my life compared to plenty of people. So if you had someone more experienced, I bet you they would have had it down quicker than that. But was a little bit sticky, you know, but definitely chopped really well. Really happy with it.
Alrighty, y'all. So the results, as you saw, I chopped a few elm branches, a few applewood branches. I chopped that applewood stump. I also chopped a ash branch that was dead. I chopped some dead elm logs, and the edge is still holding up pretty well. There's no burr, no chipping, still sharp. So I'm pretty happy about that. I was kind of worried about it being so thin that it would, you know, get chipped up in that dead elm that I was chopping off camera. But it stood up really well, which makes sense because I did put, like, I'm going to guess that was a 30-degree micro bevel. So really happy with it. As you saw, it was kind of sticky in the stump. It was, yeah, it is fairly sticky. I'll give it that much. In dead wood, it is a little bit sticky. But overall, really good. As you saw, it made very clean cuts, limbed very well as well, and chopped well too. So if this video helped you guys out, feel free to like and subscribe. It would help me to continue to make more videos like this. Feel free to check out some of my other videos as well. God bless, and see you on the next one.